Hi, my name is Phil Davies and I'm the CEO at FlyForm. My day-to-day job is setting the strategy for the company and managing the culture.
Hi, I'm Adam Haylock, a senior solution consultant at ServiceNow. I work in our pre-sales ACE team, supporting partners like FlyForm across EMEA.
So Adam, we keep hearing a lot now about virtual agent, obviously with the rise of machine learning, AI, all these kind of technologies, and with ServiceNow in the kind of pro licensing now, we're seeing virtual agent really getting a big uptake. What is virtual agent exactly, and what kind of the key benefits that people are getting from implementing it?
Yeah, so virtual agent is huge at the moment on the ServiceNow platform, as you say.
Yeah.
It's because we just come from the keynote listening to John Donohoe talking about how people now want to consume knowledge and services through their organisations anywhere, anytime, anyway. So they do that through our virtual agent in ServiceNow now, which is a conversational virtual agent that can be used across the platform in multiple ways. It's very easy, very fast to get information.
So one of the things I heard you say then was across the platform. So I know a lot of the preconception at the moment is people are using the virtual agent, at least in the first instance, for the ITSM stuff. So they're going into incidents and requests and can I order this, and someone's chatting back. But so are you seeing a lot of use cases across, I don't know, things like HR, CSM, other parts of the platform?
Absolutely. So it's a good point. Virtual agent is a platform feature.
Okay.
So it can be used across ITSM, CSM, HR. Not only that, if you're building or developing your own applications on our platform, you can leverage the virtual agent capabilities.
Okay, so you can actually use it for custom apps as well, so people are building apps.
So if you use it for ITSM or HR or custom apps, the experience is the same. You're used to using that virtual agent, and you have that familiar experience.
Same look and feel.
Exactly.
It's a great way to leverage it. And I think going back to the old journey a few years ago, we kept talking about consumerizing the enterprise. And I guess at home now I'm on Amazon or whatever, and I know I'm talking to a bot half the time, kind of questions come up, I'm pressing buttons, asking answers, and I guess this again is bringing that same experience now into the modern enterprises internally and externally for all these people to work with.
Yeah, it's what our employees demand of us as organisations. We're used to doing it outside of the workplace. For example, last night in my hotel I could get services using WhatsApp. This is just how we live our lives every day. We want to be able to get that information through work very easily using technologies like virtual agent. We don't sit at our desks anymore 9 to 5. We don't walk along to the most experienced person to ask that information. We want to be able to get it on a Sunday evening whilst we're watching TV.
Nice. And I guess from an ROI perspective, off the top of my head, I think the two main ones I'd think of would be, one I guess is resource. So I guess you can automate a lot of stuff and make things, get the bot to do a lot of things that would be an agent before. A user perspective or customer's perspective, they can also probably get things quicker because in the middle of the night they can talk to the bot, deploy me their software, and the bot can ask them what they want and handle it all without even the person having to be delayed.
It's unlimited how you can deploy this virtual agent and what you serve your customers, whether it is knowledge or actually actioning items. It's just another interface into the organisation. So it's a starting point, and then ServiceNow can automate everything or anything inside it. So if you're talking to your prospects and customers and they ask you why should we have a virtual agent, I would fall back on two things. First of all, internally in your business, whatever that department is, you're going to be able to free up your resources, you're going to be able to invest that back into the organisation and actually really drive some innovation forward. But then also, we go back to our customers, people using this technology. We're going to provide them that consumer-like experience. Again, anywhere, anytime.
What they demand.
What they expect when they come to workplace.
Brilliant. What does a typical adoption journey look like for customers taking virtual agent, and what are the kind of pros, cons, pitfalls of a potential implementation or deployment?
Okay, so first of all, the virtual agent in ServiceNow is very easy to adopt and use from day one using the out-of-the-box capabilities like the predefined conversations. So absolutely an organisation can put this in day one, start using it. But it's not necessarily always as easy as that. First of all, you've got to consider culture. So an organisation could be going from a very manual offering, telephone calls, to providing a virtual agent. So there are some considerations around that in terms of adoption. But what's helping is, within New York, we released NLU capability, natural language understanding. So we're starting to bring AI offering into our virtual agent. Essentially what that means is you can now talk to that virtual agent as we are now, as a human.
So rather than hit the right words on the right sentences.
It's much easier and quicker to engage.
Nice.
And not only that, it can handle mid-context throughout that conversation, so it's much more flexible in its approach. So it goes back to the adoption, it just makes it much easier and quicker, and it continues to learn.
I think the natural language stuff is huge, isn't it? Because there's nothing more frustrating when you start a conversation with a bot and it doesn't understand. In your head, you're saying the exact thing that should be said. It doesn't get, and it just shuts it down immediately.
It goes back to experience. Yeah. We cannot have a situation where the virtual agent breaks halfway through that conversation. Yeah. That's just not good enough. No. It has to understand our language, our intent, and serve what we're trying to get out of it.
Culturally, I think it's a huge one as well. There's so many organisations we've worked with in the past who have culturally been in that manual mindset, and the people within the day-to-day job themselves, and they can't accept that this could be shifted. Yep. So I guess, do you guys do anything specific around that, like cultural? Is it kind of down to the partners who are implementing to go in and kind of do that organisational change piece with them as well, and like comms around this, and this is what the roles could be redeployed, and this is the value for the customer, trying to get them on that journey? Is that
absolutely?
Kind of
there is a conversation, and you know this. You have these conversations every day. It is around how does this technology help you as an organisation focus on actually your priorities and your goals, and make sure you're successful and not wasting time up front. We think about potentially a HR organisation. Again, maybe it's manual, it's phone calls. All of a sudden, the introduction of a virtual agent blows open how that organisation
for those parts of the business. You
don't need to be, Monday to Friday 9 to 5 anymore. You can offer a service 24/7 wherever, anytime, overnight. It's really exciting.
It's a really good point actually for global companies as well. If you've got a global organisation with a certain support centre in certain countries, but now you can augment that with the virtual agent doing the other stuff in the out times. Again, that's another kind of string to the bow. Great.
And you remind me, augmenting, that's a good point. We augment our virtual agent technology with humans. So it's not always about, hey, once you get a virtual agent, 100% of your traffic will go through it. We know that. But what we can do is, when it doesn't work, or it's too specific, too complex, bring a human in, augment that technology, make it easy to pass that request to a human, solve that issue, pass back to the virtual agent. Comes back to experience again.
Will the bot learn then from, like, if things get escalated up to a human and then come back, does the bot now have learning capability, or is it just kind of retraining the lessons? Or
there are some learning inside of the NLU, but also within ServiceNow, you have all of the information and visibility about that virtual agent implementation. Is it being successful? Is it being adopted? Where is it being used? Is it being used in Microsoft Teams or Slack? If it is, if not, we can make decisions to improve or direct them.
I guess combined with the agent intelligence stuff, that machine learning engine over time, with getting those two kind of going hand in hand together, with that agent intelligence learning the data and learning the answers, and maybe feeding the VA bot with that data will be a real...
We're investing heavily in this technology across the platform. The predictive intelligence, the AI side of the virtual agent will only grow and explode into organisations. It's really exciting.
It's an exciting time, so
very.
Great. Well, we look forward to rolling out some more customers with you soon.
Excellent, I hope so.
Brilliant, thanks.
Thank you.